Hey guys, Pawnce here, take two on this 15-minute video because I realized after I recorded everything my mic was muted, so yeah. Anyway, I finished my 10 promo games last night for Season 4, and I just thought I'd share some things that I learned and picked up on for myself, so maybe you guys would find these tips and sort of insights useful as well, and hopefully not make the same mistakes I did. I played this all off stream because I don't know if you guys watch my stream. I've mentioned this before. Playing on stream is actually quite difficult. You got to commentate, and there's music playing, and it's really distracting. I consider it a 200 elo, or it's called MMR now, 200 MMR debuff. I just these are kind of important. I wanted to focus, and yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't go as well as I would have hoped. We only won five games and lost five games. So, instead of going, I got crap teams, there's nothing I can do about it, I really wanted to keep track of how these games went and what went wrong, aside from the crap teams. but, and sort of learn from these mistakes and hopefully improve on them. And this is sort of what I came up with, because I kept track of what I was doing and whether or not I won and that kind of thing. So first off, I went top lane 8 games out of the 10, and I went jungle twice. I won both the jungle games, which I'll get to later. And oddly enough, despite the fact that I am a much better top laner than a jungler, I'm not a bad jungler, but I'm basically a top lane specialist. I only won 3 out of the 8 games I played top lane. And this again is, or not again, but this is despite the fact that I completely crushed top lane 5 games out of the 8 and sort of semi-won, or barely convincingly won another game. So 6 out of the 8 I won really handily. And by crushing the lane, I mean like double or near double the enemy CS, killed them 3 or more times, take the enemy tower down, and then start roaming and killing other people. And the one that's a semi-win was like, I technically died to jungler a few times because of my own negligence, but I still doubled the other guy's CS and took his tower down before he took mine. So I'm, that's a win, but I have fairly high standards, so we're going to call it a semi-win. Now, the first thing you got to think about is the 2 games you lost, or the 2 times I lost the lane. That leaves 2 games. I couldn't learn too much from that. There are a few things, just because of how the games went. One game, we had a troll jungler on our team, and I don't mean troll in the sense that he was a crappy jungler and I'm angry about it, and so I'm calling him a troll. No, like this guy legitimately would come to your lane, feed the enemy guy kills, get you killed. Once he got his Lee Sin ult, he would kick enemy people away so that you couldn't kill them, and then he built AP as Lee Sin. So that game was just, forget about it. The other lane I lost, the reason for that was like really hard camping. And by really hard camping, I mean the jungler came to my lane about 5 times, and then mid lost their lane really hard, and then mid came top lane a couple times to kill me, and then bottom lane lost their lane so hard that even bottom lane came top lane and started to kill me. And so in that case, it's really hard. Like, maybe I could have handled it a bit better, but, when 5 people are all on your tower, before the actual laning phase is done, I have my limits. Now, the one common thread between those 2 games that I should take into account is when I wasn't busy being camped or trolled by the jungler, mechanically speaking, I could have played them a bit better. We wouldn't have been relevant, but the common thread was they were both top laners that I wasn't experienced fighting against. It was a Kayle and a Zac. So mechanically speaking, I kind of messed up as well, but that never really led to any deaths. So that's just something to keep in mind for the future, is get better against lanes that I'm not familiar with fighting. So, yeah, the bad luck is part of it for sure, but we can't just stop there. The games that were completely uncarryable, I say there was only 2 of them. Every other loss, maybe I could have done something. I think one of the games that was uncarryable was like somehow when we were all platinum and diamond people, for whatever bizarre reason, there was a silver duo queue on our team. And I mean, it's not entirely their fault that they got completely wrecked. I mean, they're against platinum and diamond people. You can't really expect a platinum or silvers to win against platinum and diamond. I'm more sort of irritated at Riot. It's like, how did this system allow 2 diamond people, or not diamond, silver people on a team? I mean, it's just, we're going to lose this. But yeah, aside from that, the rather consistent feature in all the games we lost was bottom lane was losing really hard. Now you might ask yourself, as top lane, what are you going to do to stop bottom lane from losing horribly? Not a lot. The What I think I could have done a lot better is, despite the fact that bottom lane was losing fairly consistently, I don't know what it is with me in bottom lanes. I just get really bad luck with them or something. But bottom lane losing in and of itself shouldn't cause the game to just go snowball out of control and be unwinnable. Like I was saying, most of the games I was snowballing top lane really hard, so I should be able to an extent, counter the snowball bottom lane. What I should have been doing is being a lot more vocal with the bottom lane, especially taking advantage of the sort of the early power spike I have in terms of my build and where the gold was all sitting, and sort of gathering people together and saying we have an early advantage. Let's take advantage of advantage, and go mid, take some towers or something. Instead, I was a lot more passive about things, and sort of let bottom lane float around and do its own thing. I've mentioned the concept of hovering in my previous videos before. Now, it's this case of people either through demoralization or not understanding or thinking about the game on a similar level to sort of more experienced people, is that when you're on the map, at all points you should be doing something. Like there should be a reason you're either going somewhere or you're actually already somewhere. It's like, why are you there? Okay, well, I want to accomplish X. And how important is X in terms of the overall game? After bottom was losing, they would basically start hovering, and they were never in position to actually do anything. It was kind of like they'd either be trying to get some farm back bottom lane while something really important was going on, or they'd be hovering between lanes, and it's almost like they don't exist as teammates. At that point, yeah, I should have been a lot more vocal and kind of, I guess, assume everyone's a retard. But, don't be mean about it. Don't type in all the time, you're an idiot. You should be doing this. In a more helpful, encouraging sort of way, I should have been going, okay, hey guys, we need you right here. We should be doing this. Instead, I was just kind of silent and I let the game go by, hoping that my, massive gold lead would carry us through, and it didn't end up being the case. The other problem we were running into was, again, it was the bottom lane especially. It was the team fight mechanics of it. And that's a lot more difficult because, especially if it's a bottom lane, all they have to do is right-click on people. It's like, how do I coach someone to right-click on someone? I mean, if they can't do that themselves, what am I going to say to them to make them do that? And it was sort of a lesser case of the hovering, where people were kind of scared and hovering in and out of the fight and not actually doing anything. And so again, it's like when the bottom lane is not there, it's a 3v5, but it looks like they're there. They're just actually not. And you can't, and that's a case of, fight instinct and sort of knowing when to go in and when not to. And if people don't know that, or are not as good as the enemy team when that's happening, that's not something you can teach them in the short term. So that's a really difficult thing to overcome, and I don't think I could have actually dealt with that part of why we were losing. I suppose I could have tried, but aside from that, well, why don't we move on to the jungler games? The jungler games were quite weird. Well, they were straightforward, I guess, but weird, if that makes any sense. Because, again, I'm mentioning, I won both those games really handily, despite the fact that I'm not a jungle main, with actually really absurd kill-death ratios. First game was Nautilus. I went 12-1, or technically it was like 12-0 ratio because I never actually died. So you divide 12 by 0 and everything explodes or whatever. But Shyvana, and the other game was Shyvana, I had an 18-1 kill-death ratio, kill-death assist ratio. And then there are several reasons for this. So we got to consider why I was doing so well on jungle as opposed to top lane, which didn't have quite as good results. And that was largely because I guess the two games I was on jungle was a fairly competent team across the board. One game, I believe, all the lanes either slightly won on their own or were at least even. And I helped snowball those, slight wins or, ties into like a major win with sort of ganking and stuff like that. And the second game on Shyvana was slightly more interesting because one lane was losing, one lane was tied, and the other one was winning on its own. What I ended up doing was I considered the lane composition as a jungler. I was mainly thinking about top lane because, again, I'm a top lane, so I know how these team comps or these matchups work. It was a Rengar versus a Rumble. And despite the fact that top was losing because it had died, Rengar was on our side, I know Rumble doesn't snowball as hard as he used to because of all the nerfs. So I was thinking, Rumble is going to play the lane like a lane bully. That's what they do. He's going to come in like full bore and try and control the lane and engage right off the bat as soon as Rengar comes back to lane. So I'm like, okay, I know he's going to do this. I'm going to counter gank his initiation as soon as he gets there, and that's what I did. And then we had a 2v1 and we killed him, and then we start snowballing the top. I came back in that again later, but we snowballed the top lane really hard, and Rumble got crushed. And once Rumble gets crushed, he's not in the game anymore. He falls behind too hard, which is why I don't play him anymore. And the second point was I was against a jungle. What's that guy called? A Fiddlesticks. It was the same guy actually twice in a row. And I looked at his record. He wasn't a bad jungle Fiddlesticks. He just had a few unfortunate games because he normally had quite a good record. The problem was they tried a counter. What was it? They tried to level 1 invade at least once. They may have done it twice, but at the very least, if they did it the second time when I was on Shyvana, they tried it and I actually killed their Fiddlesticks in their invade, and then they all went running. And so I started off with an extra kill. And because Fiddlesticks had actually had a poor game the previous game when I was on Nautilus, I knew him, and then he had similar teammates. I recognized a lot of the names. So at this point, I'm like, okay, they have a Fiddlesticks who's now down after doing poorly in the previous game. It's time for some psychological warfare. And no, I don't type stuff in all chat. That's just kind of disrespectful. So what I was doing is, at that point, I start counter jungling the Fiddlesticks because he's fairly easy to counter jungle on top of me being Shyvana and he's already behind. And I kill him, and then obviously the team is all going to start yelling at this guy. It's like, oh my God, this Fiddlesticks, blah blah blah. And they're complaining at this guy, but there's not a lot he can do. He's already behind. And you guys are basically falling right into my plan here. It's like, I want you to yell at this Fiddlesticks. That's why I'm counter-jungling him. So, yeah, that was a fairly successful tactic, I think. Aside from that, their team comp was bad. You really got to think about team comp when you're making it. It's not just... Well, if the team comp is really bad, sometimes you do need to adapt it a bit. Because they had a pretty much all magic damage team both times. First time was literally all magic damage, and second time was like, yeah, all except for one was magic damage. So as tank, it's really easy to itemize against magic damage. I just built like full early game magic resist, and I could literally 1v5 their team, and they wouldn't be able to kill me. Then the rest of the team would show up after everyone's blown all their ults and crap on me, and I'm still standing there. And, then they get wiped off the map. So, all magic damage team, probably not a good idea. It's, in my opinion, worse than an all physical damage team. All physical damage teams can actually still be scary, even if you build fairly tanky, because there's a lot more ways to get around it, I think, anyway. Yeah, so those are my points on the jungler. It was just, there were more fortunate games, and I caused them to snowball harder with the decision-making process I just outlined. Quick point is... not about sort of my play specifically, but I'm adding to my ban list Kha'Zix and Kayle. Not because I think they're horrendously overpowered. I know they're really good, and I know Kha'Zix is getting nerfed next patch most likely. But they add too much of an element of unpredictability to the game. I like, consistent, predictable games where I am going to snowball top lane and then we win the game normally. Kha'Zix and Kayle contributed quite heavily to sort of this playstyle where it was like Kha'Zix especially. He would really take advantage of the inexperienced, well, again, bottom lane mostly. But, he would just kind of jump in on people out of position, kill them, jump out, and he would snowball out of control like this and just kill people over and over again. And he got to the point where, like, even I couldn't really deal. Well, I could sort of still deal with him, but it was tough because he would gut my back line, and then I was stuck, fighting people, like their entire team. And Kayle, again, another really heavy snowball champion, it seems like, and it just people, I don't know, underestimate her damage or get too close to her and die instantly. I don't really know what the deal was, but they're both getting banned from now on because, again, not because I don't know how to deal with them, but because there are people who don't know how to deal with them. And certain champions, just when people don't know how to deal with them, get really out of control. Like, that's most likely, whether people consciously recognize it or not, ban champions like Blitzcrank, because they don't like the element of unpredictability in the bottom lane. Blitzcrank on his own is fairly easy to handle. Like, you dodge the hook. But, especially if you're not bottom lane and you're not confident in your bottom lane, people ban the Blitzcrank because they don't want to risk the fact that someone doesn't know how to dodge a hook, and then that lane is just done. So, yeah, that's all I have to say on the matter. Hopefully I didn't hit the mute button this time, and it's actually recorded. I will be most likely getting, I'm not sure what my exact plan is, but most likely getting to Platinum off stream really quickly. All I have to do is win 6 games in a row. It's not too much of an issue. Hopefully. So I'll get back to streaming soon. Not quite yet, but I'll let you guys know with a big announcement and my actual streaming schedule and all that stuff when I hit Platinum, and we'll make this more official. So yeah, hope you guys found this informative and or possibly entertaining. I've got like an air bubble trapped in my chest from too much talking, so I'm just going to get the hell out of here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you around.